Now, with just over 2 months to go to the US presidential elections, the Republican Party has begun in earnest its pitch to American voters to unseat President Barack Obama. Our Washington correspondent Matt Frei is at the Republican Party convention in Tampa, Florida. How's the selling of Matt Romney going?
Well, welcome to Tampa, Florida, and the Republican convention. This is indeed day 2 of that convention. Not just a massive sales pitch to American voters, but also a bit of a pep talk to the party itself. Now, Mitt Romney has this opportunity to persuade Americans that he's better placed to run this country than the other guy, Barack Obama. But can he? Last night's message was, Mitt the normal, Mitt the moderate, and the messenger-in-chief, none other than his wife, Ann Romney, the lady who wants to be the First Lady of the United States. Watch this.
Imagine a key speaker at a party political conference in Britain, starting like this.
Tonight, I want to talk to you about love. I want to talk to you about the deep and abiding love I have for a man I met at a dance many years ago.
But this isn't Britain, it's America, where the saccharine still trumps the cynical. And this is Ann Romney, the wife of the Republican nominee, whose main mission at this conference is to make her husband look human and their $250 million household look normal.
I read somewhere that Mitt and I have a storybook marriage. Well, let me tell you something. In the storybooks I read, there never were long, long rainy winter afternoons in a house with 5 boys screaming at once. And those storybooks never seem to have chapters called MS or breast cancer. A storybook marriage? Nope, not at all. What Mitt Romney and I have is a real marriage.
Even the stage was all wood, genuine and warm. Get it? Yes, this was the typical speech of a first wife hoping to become a first lady. But Ann Romney has something that her husband lacks. An ability to look America in the eye and at least sound as if she means it.
I can't tell you what will happen over the next 4 years, but I can only stand here tonight as a wife and a mother and a grandmother, an American, and make you this solemn commitment. This man will not fail.
She still looks like a Stepford wife, and the Mormon Romney clan, all clear eyes and Lego teeth, have surely never had the indignity of a hangover. And yet the speech hit the sweet spot with these Jersey girls inside the hall, the tipsy epitome of normal.
What did you make of Ann Romney's speech? She was trying to tell America that the Romneys are just an ordinary American family, despite the $250 million.
They're a spectacular American family and an example and an inspiration for all of us.
Next speaker, the body opposite to the Romneys. The unapologetically supersized Chris Christie, governor of New Jersey. Tony Soprano in a fat suit. He wasn't here to talk about love.
See, I believe we have become paralyzed by our desire to be loved. But our leaders today have decided it's more important to be popular, to say and do what's easy, and say yes rather than to say no, when no is what is required.
The rest of the world may wince at these words, but much of America is nodding in agreement. This country never ceases to surprise, and a Mormon with a real chance of winning the White House is as unprecedented and historic as a black man becoming president. Oddly, Hollywood, the dream factory, doesn't get it yet, with one exception, John Voight, friend of Mitt.
This guy, all you have to do is know a little bit about his background. He's a remarkable guy. He's had nothing but success in his life. He's a problem solver. He's a terrific guy. His only problem is that the media doesn't carry his story. They don't carry his speaches.
Perhaps he hasn't been telling his own story well enough.
Wait a minute, just a second. I'm telling you something. Listen to me. I'm going to get angry. See, I'm going to get angry at a Brit. You know what I mean? He's a Brit. I got to take care of this Brit. He's an ally.
Listen, now that's what I call good acting. If only he could teach his friend Mitt to do the same. But then whatever is acted out or said in this hall, this election, unlike the last one, isn't about words. It's about cold, hard numbers. And that's President Obama's biggest problem.
Well, I'm now joined here in the Channel 4 skybox at the Tampa Convention by Frank Luntz. He's a Republican pollster and campaign strategist, and also by Michelle Goldberg, a senior writer of Newsweek magazine and the Daily Beast. Welcome to you both. Let's start with you, Michelle. So there was Ann Romney last night at the stage below us, directly appealing to women, looking into the women's eyes of America. Did she convince you?
I'm sure that she convinced many women that Mitt Romney would be an excellent candidate for husband. But that's not really what this is about. I mean, essentially, she told people what I think most of us already know, which is that one of Mitt Romney's best qualities is his luxuriousness. He's very loving and kind to his wife, as is Obama. So we have two excellent family men. But I don't think she did anything. You know, I actually don't think...
But isn't that important? Because she's trying to make this very unaverage family seem average.
I actually think that a lot of women's reluctance to support the Republican Party has something to do with policy. You know, it's not just that he's stiff and awkward. He might be an off-putting character, but I actually think the real problem is the party has an off-putting platform.
Okay, Frank Luntz, let's turn to you. How important, first of all, give me the clear numbers, are women in this election?
There's a gender gap, and there's always been one, and it seems to be a little bit larger this time than in the past. The Democrats cannot get men. White men just will not vote for Barack Obama. Mitt Romney's having a problem with women now, which is why Ann Romney was so important. And she's right, there is a policy issue, but the highest priority, highest value among women, undecided women, are jobs. And we've got an 8.3% unemployment rate, 23 million Americans out of work. So Mitt Romney's got to convince women that he's the best candidate to put them back to work.
So if men vote for Democrats and women for Democrats and men for Republicans, do they cancel each other out, or is there still an advantage?
Well, more women vote than men in this country.
Right.
53-47.
Okay, so it's about jobs, it's about Mitt Romney, the crisis manager. That was always his main appeal. How's he doing on that front?
Well, the fact is that Mitt Romney hasn't really created jobs. I mean, Mitt Romney is now best known as a job destroyer. We know that he was a venture capitalist who put a lot of people out of work. I think that the attention to his tax returns, the fact that he's paying such a lower rate than the vast majority of working people out there, I don't see any reason for American women or men to trust. I mean, to me, the idea that Mitt Romney, with these kind of outdated austerity economics, is going to fix the American economy. I know it's a popular fantasy here, but I don't think it's very convincing.
But if you look at the numbers,
I just want to say, you know what's funny about this? Is that I saw Newsweek, who you work for, actually at Staples, which is about 4 blocks from here. Staples was Mitt Romney's company, and you all are actually buying your products for what you do here, your pencils and your paper, from the very company that Mitt Romney created.
Which is one company. But my point was going to be this. If you look at the numbers, Mitt Romney is doing better on fixing the economy, a lot better than Barack Obama. And the economy is the #1 issue in this election. So isn't that something important to keep into account?
Basically, what the public says is this. Mitt Romney can solve their problems, but they're not sure if he understands them. Barack Obama understands them, but they don't think they can solve their problems. So the question is, do you want to vote for the guy you like, or do you want to vote for the guy that you respect?
Your response?
But it's not just that. I mean, people don't trust Mitt Romney on a whole bunch of things that affect their economic well-being. They, dislike his plan to privatize Medicare, to privatize Social Security. People are very nervous, not just about what Mitt Romney has in mind in terms of social issues, but in his kind of incredibly regressive and reactionary economic policies.
And why are they tied? If it's so bad, and by the way, I didn't know Newsweek actually had become a article of faith for the Democratic Party. You're giving great Democratic talking points.
I'm sorry.
I thought you worked for Newsweek.
Well, I don't represent Newsweek. I represent my own views, obviously.
So I wonder if Newsweek agrees with this. But my question is, if it's so bad for Mitt Romney, why is he tied with Barack Obama?
Well, I would say this. The economy is in crisis.
Okay.
And yet people are still reluctant to vote in a challenger. Under any other, I think Obama's hugely outperforming his...
Okay, go ahead.
Please. And that is exactly why Mitt Romney has gained 4 or 5 points in the polls recently, because they don't think that Barack Obama can solve the economy.
Okay, but couldn't you turn around and say, considering the state the economy's in, shouldn't Mitt Romney be doing a lot better? He just hasn't connected with ordinary voters.
Absolutely. In fact, based on Obama's performance over the last 4 years, Mitt Romney should be 5 or 6 points ahead. We have never elected anyone in this country with a job approval rating of under 48%. Consistently, Barack Obama's been at 44, 45%.
Okay, now, if you talk to most Europeans, or people in Britain for that matter, they find it inconceivable that Mitt Romney could be the next president of the United States. Will they get a big wake-up call on November the 7th?
At this point, Barack Obama has the lead. He's winning in most of the key swing states, but only by 1% or 2%. Let's ask that question 48 hours from now, and we may have a clearer picture.
Can he say, or indeed anyone around him, say anything at this convention to change the minds of the undecided voters, that tiny slither of the population in the middle that are still, watching all this on their
You know, I
on their
actually
sofas at
don't
home.
think that it's very clear that undecided voters are watching this. I mean, we kind of fetishize undecided voters in this country, but undecided voters tend to be the most disengaged and kind of uninterested in politics. So I actually don't know that they're the people
this is
who
playing
have...
to the gallery here.
Yeah, that would be my guess. And I don't know if you
Okay,
disagree about
But
that.
I agree with her, and what a beautiful gallery it is. The undecideds will be watching the debates. We're going to have some of the highest debate viewership we've ever had in America.
But what should we be looking out for in the next few days? We heard Ann Romney yesterday trying to make him look like a great husband. We had Chris Christie giving him some red Republican meat. What does he have to say tomorrow for people to really understand who Mitt Romney actually is?
And the answer is that he has to communicate a sense of trust. Because right now, all Americans, Democrats, Republicans, Congress is a 10% job approval. The president's got a 45% job approval. We don't trust politicians. Romney has to demonstrate that there's a reason to trust him.
Can you create trust with one speech?
You cannot. You know what? I was about to. No, actually, they have. We've got candidates who've come here and rocked conventions. Barack Obama did it himself in 2004. So yes, you can, in a single speech, make a huge difference.
Right. Sarah Palin did something similar. Well, actually, it was rather different. She scared everyone, even in the convention 4 years ago, and then she flopped after that.
She went from...
Well, she electrified them for a while.
Yeah. She went from 3 points down to 4 points up in a matter of 96 hours, but then things didn't hold up that
Isn't it true to say that this election is not about words, it is about numbers, it is about the state of the economy, and actually it'll be decided not here in this convention or indeed maybe in the living rooms of America, but what happens in the German economy, let's say, or the Eurozone in the next few weeks?
Well, if it's not decided here, then you and I won't be able to have this conversation 4 years from now. So we have to make this important. But for the viewers at home, it's all about, will I have a job a year from now, and which candidate is most likely to protect my job 5 years from now.
But you both think very briefly that Barack Obama will still be the next president of the United States? Yes or no?
I certainly hope so.
And he's got a narrow advantage right now. Again, ask me 48 hours from now, and I'll make a projection for you.
Frank Luntz, Michelle Goldberg,
Thank
thank you
you
very much indeed.